Hey y'all, in today's video I'm going to show you how to make these cute Christmas trees. So for our first tree we're using some twine and some felt snowflakes. And for all of these trees I'm using cardboard as my base, so I have these cut down to little triangles. And for our first tree I'm using this twine that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just doing a little line of glue down the bottom of our cardboard so that it will hold on to our twine, and then you'll just wrap your cardboard completely with your twine. Now this does take a lot of wrapping depending on how thick your twine is, and you'll do that until you completely cover your cardboard with your twine. Now for the little stand for our tree, I'm using these bamboo sticks, but you can also use wooden dowels or whatever you have on hand. And I'm just sticking that directly into the cardboard, and I'm using these little birch logs from Dollar Tree and just drilling a little hole in them so we could stick our wooden dowel down into that. And I add a little dab of hot glue in there as well just to secure the hold. Now for the felt snowflakes, one of my sweet followers on Facebook sent me these, so I'm not 100% sure where she got them from, but you could make something similar like this using wooden snowflakes and twine. And I'm just wrapping those around the tree, trying to space them out as needed, and then I'm just going to tuck that little extra piece in the back of the tree and then just glue it with some hot glue to hold it there. And that's all it is to it, a super cute and easy to make rustic tree. Now for our next trees, we're going to be making these fluffy trees, and I'm using macramé cord for these, and I will have that link down below for you guys. So I just have a piece of cardboard and my macramé cord, and I'm just going to wrap that right around that piece of cardboard several times, and the more you wrap it, the fluffier your tree will be. And then we just take a piece of twine and just tie all those little strands together, and I usually double knot that so that they don't move and don't come apart, because the next step we're going to need to brush them out and we need it to kind of hold them. But once you take them off your cardboard, you're just going to cut the opposite side of where you tied them so that you have a bunch of loose strands. And then we're just going to brush out those strands, so you can use a dog brush or you can use a comb. I would say a dog brush is easier to do this with, and I'm going to be so real with y'all, I end up switching to this brush even though it doesn't look as visually appealing, but it does a lot better job because the bristles are finer. This other dog brush that I had, it was just hanging up a little too much, causing a whole lot of extra work, but it did still do the job, so just use whatever type of brush you have on hand. And once we have that completely brushed out, we're going to glue that directly to our cardboard, so right where you tied it with your twine is where you're going to glue it to the cardboard. And you can make several layers of these to make your tree more fluffy, it's just all in your preference. And then we're doing the same for this one, just sticking our bamboo stick into the cardboard, and then we're making a little stand using these wood slices, and I'm drilling another little hole in them so that it can be centered onto the wood slices. Now we just need to trim up the tree so it's a little more equal on the bottom, and you can also trim up throughout the tree to make it look a little better if it's kind of uneven like mine is. And when I made these last year, y'all, I didn't add any to the back of it, and a lot of people were upset with me about that, so I'm adding it to the back as well, so then we have a whole tree all the way around. But to be completely honest with you, you don't have to do this if you're just going to have them against the wall, because it doesn't really change the appearance of them, it's just all in your preference. And then for the top of our tree we can add a little star or a bow or whatever you have on hand. And I made a white version of this tree as well, and it gave me the idea of using some paint and just kind of dry brushing that onto our tree to try to give it a little bit of a snowy look. And I ended up really loving how this looks, so I did one more tree like this, and this also kept the strands together nicely, so that was a little bonus of painting them as well. And for our last and final tree, we're going to be making this beaded tree, which is very similar to the first tree we made with the felt snowflakes, except we're using our macramé cord for this one this time and just wrapping our cardboard completely with our macramé cord. For the top of the tree, I did have to add a little glue so that it would cover up that point on our tree. And then I'm adding these little Christmas beads that I've used for a ton of crafts before. We're just adding that to the piece of our macramé cord that we left attached to our tree. And we're just starting from the top and just trying to space out those beads throughout the tree as we go down and around it. And I got these beads off of Amazon. I've used them for a lot of different Christmas crafts. I will link them down below for you guys if you're interested. And once you add all of your beads to your tree, you can adjust them as needed. And then I glued the end of the strand on the back of the tree to secure it. And then just adding another little birch log for the bottom of our tree. But I love making all of these little trees. They're so cute and easy to make, and they make for beautiful decor for Christmas time. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.